Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis, in the county of Shelby, state of Tennessee. Today date is early Monday morning, January the 19th, 2022. The time 1:50 a.m. First, say thank all my family, my support for you, and team current support. Continue to keep myself employed in this Memphis tri-state area. Continue to further my education, Monroe College online. Continue to pursue my social degree, studying to be administrative contract mark. The present time, take a break, going to school in the very near future. I will be going back to Monroe College online. Continue to pursue my social degree, studying to be administrative contract mark. Now, what I'm doing right now, I'm gonna start my Facebook Live. Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county of Shelby, in the state of Tennessee. The date is early Monday morning, December the 19th, 2022. The time 1:52 a.m. And first, I thank all my fans, my support for your continued encouragement, continue to keep myself employed right in Memphis tri-state area, continue to further my education, Monroe College online, continue to pursue my social degree, studying to be administrative contract marketing, present time, take a break, going to school in the very near future. I will be going back to Monroe College online, continue to pursue my social degree, studying to be administrative contract marketing. Now, what you see in front of you, anti-gang, anti-Gnostic, anti-hazing, also adversus heresies, translated meaning against heresies. Saint Irenaeus, the Bishop of Lyons, together with Saint Ignatius, the Bishop of Antioch, they wrote a 5-volume book titled Adversus Heresies Against Heresies. They refuted Gnosticism. Gnosticism was refuted, meaning they proved that Gnosticism was a heresy. Also, Saint Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, in the year 367 AD, in his 39th Festal letter, Easter letter, banned all non-Christian writing. At Nagamon Library, some leftover Gnostic writing that was banned and that didn't get destroyed by Saint Athanasius, Bishop of Alexandria, and the other bishops in the Catholic Church. Also, Saint Epiphanius of Salome, the Bishop of Cyprus, wrote a 3-volume book titled Panarium, Greek, Panarium, Latin, translated means bread basket. Scholars have also said that Saint Epiphanius of Salome, Bishop of Cyprus, 3-volume book is also Adversus Heresies Against Heresies. esoteric and exoteric. Esoteric and exoteric. Rejecting knowledge. Rejecting knowledge. Rejecting knowledge. Rejecting knowledge. The history of the city of Chicago. And the state of Illinois and the surrounding states, as well as the history of America and the world. The Almighty Vice Lord, Four Corner Hustle. The Almighty Black Prince Stone. The Almighty Black Disciples, Poppy. The Almighty Mickey Cobra, Crack. The Bluefin Black Disciples, the Black Disciples. The Lord Stone Disciples. 7-Eleven, G Killer. Now, the history of the city of Chicago. Now, that's my dad, Chester Johnson Jr., and he passed away in 2012. And that's my mother, Annabelle Johnson. I go and visit her every day. Now, that's my dad's little brother, my uncle Lemuel Johnson. While I was incarcerated, he was murdered, and I hadn't forgot, and I haven't taken anything, and but the history of the city of Chicago. Now, my mother, my grandmother, and my grandfather, they both was from Mississippi, and my mother, she's the youngest of all her sisters and brothers, all my uncles and my aunts, and she's the last. She's the last one. She's the youngest. And so, grandma and granddad lived right here in the city of Memphis. And worked, retired, and to the day they passed away. Like I said, they were from Mississippi. And went to church, Klondike Church of Christ, up until the day they died. Right here in North Memphis. Right there in the Klondike area. And so, me and my older brother, we was at church every Sunday with grandma and granddad, mom and dad, a lot of other family. You know, we was right there at Klondike Church of Christ every Sunday. And so, and my dad, he the oldest of grandma and granddad's children. And granddad, he was from Mississippi. Grandma, she was from Mississippi. Then they moved to Memphis. Dad was born right here. My mother and father both were born right here in the city of Memphis. And Uncle Lemuel, he was the second oldest of grandma and granddad's children. He was the second. Like I said, my dad, he was the oldest of grandma and granddad's children. Now, grandma, she had another son, my Uncle Walter. And he was born right here in the city of Memphis and was living in the city of Chicago up until the day he died. Now, my grandfather, Chester Johnson Sr., like I say, he was from Mississippi and was living right here with my grandma. But he ended up moving to Detroit, Michigan, worked at the Ford Motor Company, retired, and lived in the city of Detroit, Michigan until the day he passed away. Now, grandma, she moved to Chicago and was living in Chicago up until the day she passed away. Now, grandma had a daughter, my aunt, Virgin May. Like I said, she was living in the city of Chicago also up until the day she passed away. And grandma had a son, Jane Demo, and my uncle Jane Demo, he was living in the state of Mississippi up until the day he passed away. And grandma, she had another son, Lee Jr., and he was living in the city of Chicago up until the day he passed away. See, the history of the city of Chicago is right there in front of you. first want to always, sometimes time don't permit, and I really don't, I know what time it is. But I want to stress, I want to put emphasis in saying that the Catholic Church is right. It's right. They the foundation of the church. The 12 disciples established the church with the Catholic Church, not the Church of Christ or any other. With the Catholic Church, the 12 disciples. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, first of all, established the church, the Catholic Church. He the head of the church. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is the foundation of the church. Then he chose 12 of his disciples to lead the church. Now, the Catholic Church today, Roman Catholic Church, Eastern Orthodox Catholic Church, Oriental Orthodox Catholic Church. The Catholic Church. You're a Catholic, you're a Christian. You're a Christian, you're a Catholic. Scripture and tradition. Now I know it's late at night. I be trying to fight it sometimes, but it's important. See, I might look like I might have. Nah, I might have, but still, the whole point is that it's something that's important. And I take this time. Now. I take this time now. Because, see, I can see the results. See, that's what's important. That's what's important. Is when you put forth the effort. And then you see the results. I'm talking about you actually see the results. And I see it. You understand? I see it. See, when you try to lie, like they're rejecting knowledge. That's the reason why it's rejected. Because, see, the scholars in theology, in religious studies, see, it's rejected. All that esoteric, talking about some hidden knowledge. And on the other side, you have that exoteric, that public knowledge. See, it's not an either or. See, it's not something that you can choose internal or external, or vice versa, external and internal. Because, see, anything that man does is going to be error. It's going to be error. See, that's not what God is about. That's not what God is about. Trying to make you choose some hidden knowledge or some public knowledge. That's not what God said. Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Son of God, went up on the cross, bled and died, suffered on the cross to save the world from sin. And this coming weekend, we're gonna have first we're gonna have Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day. And so, I want to take this time, want to wish everyone, happy holidays to everyone. Because there are other, holidays, of course. But I want to say happy holidays and Merry Christmas. And wish everyone a Happy New Year as well. Because after Christmas Eve and Christmas, you have, of course, the following weekend, you have New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day. So, like I say, happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And so, like I say, it's important. That's what's important, is that the effort that I take, I see the results, positive results. Is that people starting to see that, first of all, they were lied to by some more people who probably then passed away now, most likely, lied to them, and then they went around lying, and now you're going to have to face the consequences and repercussions of your actions. Oh yeah, you're going to have to be punished for the wrong that you done. Severe consequences and repercussions. Because, see, that's the main reason why I do the things I do, is to make sure, to be certain, be sure. And that's what I've done. See, the Catholic Church is right. It's just like with the Counter Reformation. Martin Luther and his supporters and his followers. The Catholic Church, at the Diet Spire, proved that this heretic named Martin Luther was a real heretic. He was a heretic. Just like John Huss. See, Pope Leo X, Johann Eck, Albert of Brandenburg, Johann Tessel. See, some very important men during that period of time. The Counter Reformation, the Holy Roman Empire went to war. Went to war with the heretics. And as you know, of course, history, at the end of the Counter Reformation, and they also call it the Catholic Reformation. You know, the heretics went on the run. Some of them, not all, some of them end up, like the Huguenots, for example, they ended up over here, came over here. The so-called Protestants came over here. And later on, just to move forward, you know, let's just say the late 1800s and the early 1900s. A lot of people came to America who were Catholics. A lot of Catholics came to America from a lot of those European countries. Came to America. Late 1800s, early 1900s. A lot of Catholics came to America. And so, the history of the city of Chicago, that's really a big part of the history of the city of Chicago. A lot of Catholics who came to America were living in Chicago, the state of Illinois, and as well as surrounding states. They were Catholics. And of course, you're a Catholic, you're a Christian, you're a Christian, you're a Catholic. But that's part of the history of the city of Chicago, the history of America, and the history of the world. And it's important. It's not something that you go in and negate. It's not something that you should negate. It's something that you should pay attention to. Because it's important. It's important. But to reiterate, see, the history of Chicago is important to a lot of people around the world. The history of the city of Chicago is important to people all over the world. And see, this what we was talking about, for example, Sam Cooke and his family came from Mississippi. Just not on the Sam, but just one example. How Sam Cooke, mother and father, were living in the state of Mississippi. They were living in the state of Mississippi. Took all their children and left the state of Mississippi and moved to the city of Chicago. And like I said, the history of the city of Chicago, the neighborhood, the area that Sam Cooke's mother and father moved to. But see, even before then, see, this is one of the things I pointed out before. Where did they get this idea about moving to the city of Chicago? What is this stuff people move? But see, it was a lot of Black/African Americans leaving the South, leaving Alabama, leaving Mississippi, leaving Louisiana, Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Missouri, moving to the state of Illinois, to the city of Chicago, to the state of Indiana, to the city of Indianapolis, to the state of Wisconsin, to the city of Milwaukee, to the state of Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, to the state of Minnesota, to the city of Minneapolis, to the state of Michigan, to the city of Detroit. Some people who left the South moved to the state of Missouri, to the city of St. Louis, Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, so on and so forth. But there was a lot of migration from the South to the North, trying to leave cotton fields and all that. And then there was a lot of industrialization in the North. And so people, a lot of Black/African Americans migrated from the South to the state of Illinois, to the city of Chicago. Early 1900s, World War One. Then after World War One, then you had World War Two, as well as in between all that, we had all this other stuff, Spanish-American War and all that, all these other wars and conflicts. And see, all this stuff about rejecting knowledge is important. But see, it's a lie that they've been telling for a long time. They've been telling that lie for a long time. Have been oppressing people all over the earth with this rejecting knowledge, with all this esoteric, Western esotericism, Western mystery tradition, and also with this other stuff, this exoteric. For example, Rudolf Steiner and the Waldorf School. And I'm pretty sure they're not the only ones with this public knowledge. But see, the Catholic Church, you You're not saying anything that anybody got to pay attention to. It's a bunch of lies. And see, when you talking about that rejecting knowledge, that so-called hidden knowledge versus public knowledge. See, all that stuff about Gnosticism, the so-called Gnostics. Gnosis. In Greek, hidden knowledge. Well, see, what we got into, we're going to continue to go to Plato. And his students. See, I be knowing that the sorority and the fraternity walking around. See, this is what, just like you intend to do stuff, I intend to do things. But see, I already got to the point where I need to be. Where I want to be, where I need to be. Is to make sure that the sorority and fraternity be certain. Ain't nowhere for you to go. Ain't nowhere for you to go but to the graveyard. Oh. Now, like I said, we've been talking about this. When you talking about this esoteric, and then you have this exoteric, this public knowledge. Well, see, a lot of this hidden knowledge, for example, the Neoplatons and the Gnostics, talking about this demiurge, and that from this demiurge to the Neoplatons was an artisan-like figure responsible for fashioning and maintaining the physical universe. Now, the Gnostics adopted the term demiurge. Although the demiurge is not necessarily the same as the creator figure in the monotheistic sense. See, this is what you got to, so in other words, when you talking about all this esoteric, and then on the other side you have this exoteric. See, they claim, all these claims that people make, they don't always be in an agreement with each other. But they all claim that it's hidden knowledge. So, when you're talking about the hermetism, they're not talking about a demiurge. And then you're talking about some of these Masons in the Order of the Eastern Star. And then you're talking about the Kabbalah. And what was the other, the spiritualists, spiritism. See, they still talking about hidden knowledge, but they're not talking about the demiurge, the occult. They're not talking about the demiurge. But it be the Gnostics trying to make a claim that the demiurge is evil and ignorant. And that the demiurge, to the so-called Gnostic, and that this so-called demiurge is some kind of flawed in that the Gnostics make this absurd claim that this demiurge has entrapped aspects of the divine in the material. And that this demiurge is the problem of evil. So they'll go around and they'll kill the cats and the dogs and try to have anal sex with the animals. Not just some man trying to have sex with another man or trying to have sex with the women, anal sex with the women. See, this is what this Gnostic mean, because it's the material world, it's the physical world, and it's evil. Whereas the Neoplatonians, Platonism, Plato, who was a student of Socrates, and so in the Platonic philosophy point of view, this demiurge is the fashioner and shape the material world, and describes the demiurge as benevolent, and so desires a world as good as possible. Now this Plato did a work called the Timaeus. Is philosophical reconciliation of Hesiod's cosmology and his theogony. And so when we talk about this Plato, like I said, we had to point this out. And then you had those people there who were students of Plato. You have all this, what's his name? Numanicius, one of Plato's students, Neo-Pythagorean. Then you had a Neoplatonism, one of Plato's students, Plotinus. And so then you have all these others. Now, henology. Plato, the first and highest aspect of God described by Plato as the one, the source, And this is the God above the demiurge and manifests through the action of the demiurge. The monad emanated the demiurge announced consciousness. And so, and so, that's one of the things we want to make sure we highlight is that when you be out on the street or in the community, you hearing this stuff out on the street or in the community amongst the people. And so you have people in academia with bachelor or associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD. And people be talking about God, and they be talking about all this, all this stuff just out in the community. And the things they be talking about, people not knowledgeable about it. They're not even aware. Some people not even aware of what it is that you're talking about. People get taken advantage of, and people get victimized. Men, women, and children. They get victimized by individuals who take the things that's been said by other people in the past. They take information from the past to use to hurt people. to hurt the animals, to destroy the environment. For example, the so-called Gnostics, claiming that the material world is evil. And so they intend to victimize men, women, and children, as well as animals, domesticated cats and dogs, destruction of the ground, polluting the air, water, ground, including noise pollution. Destruction of the North Pole and the South Pole. Well, you can attribute it to the so-called Gnostics. And you can't say that a Gnostic look this way or that way or sound this way or that way. They come in all shapes, forms, sizes, colors, religions, genders, sexual persuasion, whatever. They claim that the material world, even that this demiurge is flawed, and they had adopted this demiurge from the Neoplatons, who said that the demiurge, according to Plato, was benevolent, was a good god. And so, like I said, to reiterate, Plato said that the demiurge was a benevolent god and was a god who desired a world as good as possible. Some group of people came behind Plato and changed their view. They ain't never proved it right. And to make this clear, let's not forget, whatever the Gnostics said about the demiurge, let's not forget Saint Irenaeus, the Bishop of Lyons, together with Saint Ignatius, the Bishop of Antioch. They already knew what the Gnostics were claiming, as well as the Neoplatons, claiming that the demiurge was a good god, benevolent, and that this demiurge desired a world as good as possible. Saint Irenaeus, the Bishop of Lyons, Saint Ignatius, the Bishop of Antioch, they refuted Gnosticism. They refuted Gnosticism. Meaning they proved that what you said about the demiurge as well as about Gnosticism was wrong. It was wrong what you said about the demiurge. They proved it. So all you doing is what I've been saying all the time is lying. You just be going around lying. See, a lot of people on the street, you ain't even know. You ain't even know what the Counter-Reformation was. See, you just be going by what you heard on the street, and what people told you on the street was a lie. And then what you do, you go around lying. It's going to be severe consequences and repercussions. It's going to be severe consequences and repercussions. You ain't nobody to be afraid of, and you ain't nobody to be scared of. So all these damn people on the East Coast, for example, these black / African Americans, as well as anybody else, Hispanic, Latino, European, white, Caucasian, whatever, and anybody else that be implicated, it's going to be severe consequences and repercussions. In the state of Ohio, the same thing. It's going to be severe consequences and repercussions. Severe. See, this is the reason why I've been saying, this is the reason why I told the sisters and brothers in Chicago, the conservative vice lord, as well as the Black Princeton, the Four Corner Hustlers, the Mickey Cobras, the Black Disciples, see, this is the reason why I say, as well as all the other, my people, as well as the folks. That's the reason why it's important. See, this is the reason why it's important why I do the things I do at this time of night. It might be, I might get drowsy. I might get sleepy. I could have took a nap earlier than, and I'm still, what time is it? It's 3:14 at night, a.m. in the morning. Early Monday morning. Early Monday morning. I might get a little sleepy. Wasn't intent, but you know, I try my best. But still, you know, the intent is to be certain and sure that the guilty party, it ain't no such thing. It's trying to run and hide. It ain't no such thing as trying to run and hide. Because see, it's a lot of white guys. Let me say this. Let me say this. See, it's a lot of, it's just like the almighty gay lords, the Shy West. See, some of these white guys, they already my people. And they've been my people for a long time. The Deuces, one of the oldest white gangs in Chicago. The Deuces, folks, my people, whatever. The Simon City Royals, the Noble Knights. Then you have some of the guys they might like the North Side Post and the South Side Post and the what do you call them, the Nike Boys and see, some of them they don't claim to be affiliated with the folks or the my people. But see, when I do the things I do, first of all, when you talking about the history of the city of Chicago, you going all the way back like all these black / African Americans who migrated from the South to the North. See, it was things that white / European American were doing already with this so-called gang, the mob, all that. Then all these black / African Americans start this wave of people coming from the South. And then you had people trying to mislead you and lie to you. The so-called sorority and the fraternity. Trying to tell you that they, during that period, the late 1800s and early 1900s, it was a very, very small few black / African American who had education. And being terrorized by the Ku Klux Klan. See, this is what it means to be violent and to use violence. The majority of whites had education. So, when it comes to violence, being violent and using violence, see, it's a difference. It's a difference between the oppressed and the oppressor. Violence, being violent, and using violence. See, a coward can be at a distance, can be somewhere on the East Coast, but can send somebody out. They can use violence, but they themselves, they don't adhere to violence, but they'll use violence as a way to get what they want and need, as a way of persuading other people. Use violence. Now, being violent, you have to directly be somewhere. Because when you use violence, you don't have to be directly involved. When you say you use violence, in what form? That don't mean that I got to be directly involved. To use violence, I can give you some money and you do for how many? For so many thousands. You'll do this or you'll do that. I give you $1,000. I give you $10,000. I give you $50,000. I give you $100,000. I give you $1 million. Do this for me. Okay. Use violence. Being violent. The same person that wanted to offer somebody some money to do something for them, being violent. What if somebody came to them with violence? Turn the tables on them. What if somebody came to that person with violence? What you gonna do? What that person gonna do? You gonna defend yourself? You gonna be violent? You gonna walk away? Is that person gonna walk away? See, it's a difference. Being violent and using violence. It's a difference. You talking about some Gnostics with a cat and a dog. See, you think you can use violence and you think you can persuade me by trying to hurt the cat and the dog like you know what you talking about. But what you did is made Eric mad. See, Eric know. And when you hurt the cat and when you hurt the damn dog, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt your ass. Because I'm not going to sit out the back and sit there and let you hurt the dog and the cat or any other animal. I'm not going to sit out the back and let you destroy the environment. No. I'm going to destroy your ass. No. No. Absolutely not. Ain't no way I'm going to sit out the back talking about you a Gnostic. I'm going to kill your ass. I'm going to kill you. See, this is what I've been showing the sisters and brothers in Chicago about the gangster disciples. See, you don't get away with lying. You don't get away with lying. And then talking about some damn black gangster new breed. You don't stand a chance. I'm telling you. I'm walking around. You have no idea. You have no idea the anger I have in me. You have no idea. But if I ever get the opportunity to show you, I guarantee you will never want me to show you again. I guarantee you I'm going to kill your ass. I promise I'm going to kill you. You ain't going to never say that you're a Gnostic. You could have said you was a homosexual. You could have said you was a lesbian. God damn it, you could have said you was a prostitute. But you better not never, ever let me hear you say you're a Gnostic. Because I might not at that moment, might not show you how I really feel. But I know. I know. I don't have to have no damn PhD. I don't have to have no damn master's degree. And I don't have to have no bachelor's degree or associate's degree. But I know. I just read it. God damn it, I know. And God damn it, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. See, this is the reason why I tell the sisters and brothers in Chicago, no, hell no. No, you better not, no. See, this is the reason why I tell them white guys, no, man. Don't no damn battle pole be walking around talking about they no damn Gnostic. Talking about you adopted the demiurge and talking about the material world of evil and walking your ass around trying to be violent. No. And then you got all these Hispanic Latinos. Hell no. You ain't supposed to be walking your ass around talking about no Gnostic. Standing out there on the sidewalk and on the street corner. Talking about God. What you talking about? Don't you see the Catholic Church? Man, the Catholic Church is right. You wrong. The bishop and the deacon, you're not going to get away with doing that. No. Hell no. Absolutely not. It ain't no way. It ain't no way in heck, man. It ain't no way for you. Anybody. I don't care if you're black, white, brown, green, blue, octoroon, whatever goddamn color. I don't give a damn about your hair texture. I don't give a damn how tall you are, short. I don't give a damn if you male or female, what language you speak. You ain't gonna never, ever get away with claiming you're a Nazi. Never. Never get away. Hell, as long as I got breath in my body, as long as I'm alive, you ain't gonna never get away. Never. Never. See, in the city of Chicago, see, that's what I say. See, it ain't no such thing. It ain't no damn way in hell no damn gangster psych gonna be walking around. It ain't no way. Because you've been lying the whole time. Who the hell you think you supposed to be walking your ass around trying to claim you're a Nazi? Okay. Ain't talking about some damn black gangster new breed. Oh, whatever you, okay. And then some punk gonna make up some, talking about some insane gangster site. Okay. Well, let me say this. I was telling the sister brother about the company that owned the radio station. It's a company that owned the TV station. See, I be hearing all this, and I be watching TV. I know the sorority and the fraternity, the sohos and the frat bitches. Went to college, earned your bachelor degree, master's degree, PhD, just like I've been saying all the time, just like, which is the truth. If you get a job working for the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, you got to have a bachelor's degree to be a federal agent. That means that to be admitted in college, you had admissions exam and all that, scholarships and all that. You went to this college and then earned, and you graduated and earned a bachelor. To be an FBI agent, you got to have a bachelor's degree. That's a known fact. That's the truth. Bachelor's degree, then move up, get promoted, master's degree, PhD at the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice. As well as all the other departments in the federal government. The majority of the people that work in the federal, you got to have a bachelor's degree. You got to. You got to have a bachelor's degree. Then you get promoted, master's degree. Get promoted again, PhD. But it's a difference. At the state trooper, you can have a GED or a high school diploma to be a state trooper. The sheriff department, you got to have a GED or a high school diploma. Now let's not forget, you got to pass a drug test and you got to have a clean criminal background. State trooper, sheriff department. But the thing about it, you got to have a GED or a high school diploma. The police department, you got to have a GED or a high school diploma to work for the police department. Clean background, pass a drug screen. You can work for the police department. And also first responders. First responders. That's the only requirement. Now, in saying that, see, it's important. It's important. Because see, at the TV station, like I say, the company that own the TV station, the sohos and the frat bitches, the company that own the radio station, AM and FM, the company that own the radio station, the sohos and the frat bitches. See, you be hearing all this stuff and you be watching all this stuff on TV. Not saying that they doing what's right. Because them the same bitches that be walking around trying to negatively influence people out on the street corner and out on the sidewalk. So when you go on your job, when you be at your place of employment, when you be at work, see, it's always somebody harassing you on your job. And what they trying to do, they trying to use violence. They trying to use violence to intimidate you. And usually be what? A gang. A lot of these females in a gang. They try to intimidate you. Use violence. Make threats. They scared they damn self. They afraid. They're scared. They damn self. But if you get 2 or 3 of them together to punk another woman, use violence. You never really saw the person who was really sending them out. But they use violence to persuade you to agree. But see, when you're being violent, when you be violent, when you're being violent, you see the one that sent them out, who sent them scary ass hoes out at the hospital. Somebody get a gun and some bullets and kill somebody out on the street. See, when you try to intimidate somebody on a job, see, that little female might have some friends of her own out on the street. Now it's a confrontation. Now it's an altercation. Now somebody being violent. Now somebody that hurt somebody. Somebody got their ass killed out on the street. But see, that's what it comes to. See, this is the reason why I take the time that I do. See, the sisters and brothers in Chicago, see, they see what it is that's going on. They've been having to deal with it for years. But this is what it came down to. See, it ain't nothing else for you to bring up. It ain't nothing for you to bring up. It's a lie. That's all you doing in lying. Talking about some esoteric. It's a lie. Western mystery tradition. All you doing in lying. That's all you doing in lying. Then on the other side, exoteric. Public knowledge. Now you can try to make yourself sound intelligent. All you doing is lying. All you doing is lying. That's all you doing is lying. So, it's just time for you to face the truth. That you've been lied to and that you've been going around lying your damn self. And it's going to be severe consequences and repercussions. It ain't no such thing as getting away. It ain't no such thing as getting away. There ain't no such thing as getting away. Ain't no, it just, it's time, see, it's time for you to stop doing it. And ain't nobody got to ask you not to do that. Ain't nobody got to, tell you not to do this or not to say this or not. It's just time to start, just to deal with your ass where you need it. Severe consequences and repercussions. I was listening to this song on a YouTube video. One of the conservative vice lord brothers, Zay Tiggin, and I, gonna pop out and get busy. Don't pop out on your ass and get busy. It's about time to show you that I ain't playing. That's the way I've been feeling. It's time to show you that I'm not playing. It's time. It's been time to show you that I'm not playing. I'm dead serious, goddamn. It's time to put your ass in the graveyard. Like the Mickey Cobra said, goddamn, it's time to get cracking, goddamn. I'm sick of it. I've been sick of it. I'm tired of it. I've been tired of your ass. It's just time to deal with your ass. It's time to get cracking, goddamn. Right now. Right now. Just get straight to the point. Cause you ain't getting away. You ain't making no sense, and you ain't getting away with horse playing with other people, including me. See, that's all you doing, horse playing, talking about the werewolf, Frankenstein, Count Dracula, the boogeyman, the invisible man. You ain't doing them a line. You ain't doing them a line. You see how Hollywood, they paint this negative image of the Catholic Church, and then have the general public, they buy into this. Man, you ain't never been a member of the Catholic Church, but you just go running your mouth because you were watching a movie. And that's the image that sticks in your mind. See, it's wrong. It's wrong. And it need to be legal action taken. Take your ass to court. For religious discrimination, religious persecution, and anything else we can bring up. Take your ass to court. Because it's wrong. It's wrong. See, this year, and from this point on, I really want to show you that I'm not playing with you, man. I really do. But I know outside this door, I know the state trooper riding around, the police riding around, and the sheriff department. Gonna have to do something about that. And just as soon as I do something about it, yeah. Like the Mickey Cobra say, gonna get it cracking. Gonna pop out and get busy. Gonna show you I'm not playing. Now, what time is it? Like I said, man, that demiurge, I don't want none of them white guys to think, that it ain't nothing else to bring up. That's all it is. You got these people walking around out on the street talking about some Gnostic and then talking about some damn demiurge. Don't know what the hell you talking about. It ain't nothing to bring up. It ain't nothing else that the sorority fraternity can try to go behind other people's back and lie and horseplay. And all this Hispanic, Latino side. All this about the folks and the my people, it ain't nothing to bring up. They just keep making up the same damn lie. That's all there is to it. So all the black disciple, OG, ain't nothing to bring up. You see all the gangster disciples that kill them. They ain't got no business walking around. They ain't got no business walking around. Ain't no damn black gangster new breed got no business walking around. Kill them. Ain't no such thing, ain't no insane gangster side. Kill them. They got to go. Get all these people outside the city of Chicago hearing all this nonsense on the radio and watching TV. Now they got all these streaming services. The sorority in return worrying about getting a job, going to work, going to their place of employment. Go ahead and do something about it. Because see, it's going to be payback. Going to get your ass back. Going to get you back. Because see, that ain't what the Neoplaton said. Again, to reiterate, Plato that the demiurge was benevolent. And so the demiurge desired a world as good as possible. And what was Plato? Plato wrote Timaeus, a philosophical reconciliation of Hesiod's cosmology in his theogony, syncritically reconciling Hesiod to Homer. Now, out on the street corner, out on the sidewalk, I know damn well you don't know who Plato is, and you most certainly don't know what he wrote. So it's going to be severe consequences and repercussions. It's going to be severe consequences and repercussions. And Plato had some of his come behind him. Middle Platonism, Neoplatonism, and all that other stuff. Hedonology and all that. So, you can continue with this nonsense, but I know from this point on, you got a goddamn mark on your back. I'm telling you, you got a mark on your back trying to kill your ass. I'm telling you. So, like I said, the conservative vice lord, my video be sitting there. I know, sister and brother, and then I know all the white guys gonna be hearing all this stuff out on the street. They gonna be seeing, then all the Hispanic, Latino, it's gonna be all kind of commotion. See, it's gonna be a change. It's gonna, like Sam Cooke said, it's gonna be a change gonna come, and that change is now. That change is now. Now, before I end my video, I got to read a newspaper. Got to deal with this war in Ukraine. And you know, it's all kind of stuff happening all around the world. And I know that in somewhere in this nonsense, it's some esoteric and exoteric. Somewhere in that nonsense is some esoteric and some exoteric. Just like the war in Ukraine, for example. Then you've been hearing about this. Next you hear about all this over in the sub-Saharan Africa. This conflict, the M23. I guarantee when you get in the root of it, somebody trying to hide, trying to use violence, and you see how the people in the Congo getting uprooted in because of the violence. You got all these refugees, and then the refugees trying to migrate, trying to get away from the violence. But you notice something else. When you do that, you notice what the people were trying to do. The people themselves in the Congo, when them people, the M20, you saw what they tried to do? They tried to be violent. Now, the Congo military was fighting, but did you notice the people? That's what I want you to know. Somebody was trying to use violence. And when they tried to use violence, people started protesting. But it was something else the people were doing. They were trying to be violent. And who they were trying to be violent with? They weren't trying to be violent with each other. Who they were trying to be violent with? They were trying to be violent with the people who was trying to use violence. They were trying to be violent with the M23. See, it's a difference. See, you keep hearing the people. You keep hearing the people saying that the government of Rwanda. When you hear that, some should tell you somebody trying to use violence. Open your ears and hear what the people saying. They saying that this M23, they some dummies. It's just like the gangster disciples. Just like the black gangster new breed. Just like the insane gangster disciples. Some damn dummies. Who just go around being sent out by the sohos and the frat bitches. Long as somebody got a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a PhD to lie to your ass, they'll walk their ass around. Then you got some other people calling themselves the Vice Lord, calling themselves the Black Peace Stone, calling themselves the Mickey Cobras, calling themselves the Black Disciples, and so on and so forth. You see them, you make it sound like you're not certain, you're not sure, you don't know what the hell you talking about. That's the reason why they keep walking their ass around. That's the reason why they keep being on social media, on the internet. So like I said, it's some nonsense going on in the Ukraine. It should be obvious. Somebody took some money. Somebody then took some money from the treasury. Got all these displaced people in the Ukraine, got all these refugees in the Ukraine. Somebody then got some money out the treasury and then put the money in a bank account somewhere. Now it's a war going on. Now they done sent some, the U.S. government has sent Patriot missiles to the Ukraine. Now it's wintertime right now. Now here in the city of Memphis was 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the Ukraine right now, in Russia, Belarus, that part of the world, it's cold. It ain't no 32 degrees. It's cold. It's winter. That part of the world is winter. It's wintertime. It's snow on the ground. It's cold. See, this ain't the time of the year to be talking about no. But I mean, it's a war. But this time of the year, it's cold. It's cold. And like I said, this so-called war, this conflict over there in Rwanda and Congo. See, open your ears and listen. The government of Rwanda being accused, the government of Rwanda is being accused of supporting this M23. And it's been said that this M23 is some Tutsis. Now, they done already had a situation where it was almost genocide with the Hutus. Now, over in the Congo, as well as in Rwanda, the Hutus ain't going nowhere. And then Hutus, they, all this ethnic violence or whatever. But like I said, somebody trying to use violence. And when you try to use violence, the people in the Congo, now the Congo government got their military fighting this M23, but the fighting is causing a problem. The people who live in the Congo trying to escape the violence, all this fighting. And also, they started protesting. But it's something that they tried to do. See, when you protest, sometimes, just like, for example, here in the United States of America, back in the 1950s, 1960s, protesting against segregation and all that. And Jim Crow laws and all that. What ended up happening? You had this other philosophy where you had people saying non-violence. What ended up happening? You had a lot of the student non-violent coordinating committee said, no, not going to be non-violent. You had people like Malcolm X saying by any means necessary. Then later on, you had this group called the Black Panthers. It's the same thing. See, when you beat violence, when you use violence, just like a lot of those white people did, they used the police to beat the hell, when you tried to be nonviolent, walk across the bridge just to drink water out of water fountain, they used violence, the Ku Klux Klan, to terrorize. But what you do? There was a lot of people who wanted to fight against the Ku Klux Klan, even in the early 1900s. But some people felt like they were outnumbered, outgunned, and would get all of us killed. So they used nonviolence to achieve a goal. But still, when other people use violence to persuade you, the reaction you get is to be violent. And that's what you see. Just for example, in the Congo. See, sometimes the camera will show you people protest, but you ain't see the other people. It were people walking, trying to fight back. They were trying to be violent with the M23, with the government of Congo. You just didn't see them. But I guarantee it was some people walking around trying to kill M23. You just didn't see them. The camera only showed you the people who were protesting. But you didn't see the people who were being violent with the M23. As well as with them government people over in Rwanda. Now, I got to find a newspaper. All right, I'm over here on a Russian newspaper. Now, I'm over here on a Russian newspaper, like I said, reading problems. Now, you know, here in the United States of America, CNN and Fox. Now, the sorority and the fraternity, they lie. They lie. And they intentionally lie. Now, like I said, I'm over here now. This is the first Russian newspaper I'm glancing at. Pravda. Let me see what. I'm reading this. All right, let me read this. Now this is from, I think it's December the 14th, 2022. Russian armed forces ready to go on offensive in Ukraine. The Russian armed forces are ready for an offensive in the zone of the special military operation. Ukraine State Duma Deputy Viktor Podolsky said in an interview with Radio Toshka. Given the partial mobilization, we have enough strength. Our military-industrial complex has been gaining momentum in order to create the cumulative effect from heavy artillery missiles. The deputy said, according to Podolsky, if the West supplied missiles with a range of 500 kilometers to Ukraine, the Russian armed forces will push them back to the same distance. When the Russian army takes control of Solidar, Avdiivka, Atamovsk, and Krasnoarmeysk, it would be possible to reach the borders of the Dnepr region, the deputy noted. On December the 12th, Abdi Abludanov, the commander of the Akhmov Special Force, said that the Russian forces were conducting a systemic offensive along the entire line of contact in the special operations zone. The forces were regrouped along the entire front line, he said. Let me read this. Russian hackers exposed the list of Ukraine's losses. Said the personnel center of the armed forces of Ukraine announced the number of Ukrainian soldiers who were declared missing in the course of the special operation. $35,382 people. It goes about the military men whose bodies were not returned to their relatives from the battlefield. Mass Telegram channel says Russian hackers from the anarchist combatant group hacked into the archive of the chief of the general staff of the armed forces of Ukraine, Lieutenant General Sergei Sheptov. The hackers accessed the list of Ukraine's losses as of November 30, 2022. Most of the victims are fighters from the ground force of the armed forces of Ukraine. The list takes 662 pages with their data. Then there are 546 pages with fighters of territorial defense units. Then there are victims among air assault troops, 398 pages. This is followed by losses among members of Special Operations Force, 316 pages, and representatives of the Navy, 242 pages. Earlier, Ursula von der Leyen accidentally announced the total number of losses of the armed forces of Ukraine, 100,000 people. Advisor to the office of the President of Ukraine, Mikhail Podolak, subsequently cut their number to 10,000, Zelensky to 8,000. Alright. Now I just read a few articles from Pravda. Let me click back over. Alright, let me see here. The Moscow Times. I'm reading another newspaper, the Moscow Times. Let me click over here to the Ukraine war. Let me see here. Now, what time is it? Okay. Well, now I glanced over at the Moscow Times. Now let me glance over here to the TASS. Let me see. Okay, TASS, the Russian news agency. All right, let me see here. Main story: military operation in Ukraine. All right, this is just 2 hours ago. I'm over here on the TASS, Russian news agency. The LPR, that's the Luhansk People's Republic militia, reports over 70 Ukrainian militants eliminated in Donbass over past day. During the last 24-hour period, LPR People's Militia Forces destroyed 1 tank, 5 armored personnel carriers, 2 artillery guns, and 17 special motor vehicles of the Ukrainian army. So, like I said, I'm glancing. Now, what time is it? Now, I'm going to have to go ahead and end today's video, but I was looking at the TASS, Russian news agency newspaper, and on the military operation in Ukraine. So, let me go ahead and end today's video. Now, See all that esoteric and all that exoteric. Rejecting knowledge. Rejecting knowledge. Rejecting knowledge. Rejecting knowledge. So, as I said, before I end my video, all this stuff about some Gnostic and talking about some demiurge, well, I'm just going to make a long story short. The Neoplatons said that the demiurge was benevolent and that the demiurge wanted a good world. So, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis, in the county of Shelby, state of Tennessee. Thank all my family, my support for your continued encouragement and support. Always put God first. Thank God for all the blessings and the guidance that God provides all with. And next weekend gonna be Saturday, gonna be Christmas Eve. Then Sunday gonna be Christmas Day. Then so I'm definitely gonna be making my video, and I'm definitely gonna be making my video. So you take care of yourself, and wish each and every one of you the very best. And don't forget, there's only one church, the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, the Eastern Orthodox Catholic Church, the Oriental Orthodox Catholic Church. You're a Catholic, you're a Christian. You're a Christian, you're a Catholic. Scripture and tradition. Take care of yourself. Wish each and every one of you very best.